and then we just wait and see. See, it's actually clicking. So I'm going to go up there and tell people we're going to get started.
How did your thing on the September the 9th do?
Very well.
Yeah.
Dan was there.
Who was there?
Dan?
I was there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start. We have a couple of announcements coming up. With the people who have those announcements, kindly come forward. 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then I'll sit down.
Is that the me, Dan?
That would be you. Yes. Reading the announcements, and then we have the Proposition 1 read by Tommy over there, and we'll take care of business. Wait a minute, let me frame you, dear. Oh, look at you, look at that.
What a cutie.
See, look at that, see?
I could just look at me all night.
I think everyone did.
You ready, Dan?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. You're
Good
on.
evening and welcome to Sacred Grounds with Dan Brady as the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known and unknown universe.
Hallelujah, brother.
Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Let's have a big hand for Teddy and Fiona, our hosts. And please support this reading by enjoying the food and drinks served here.
Served here.
Please respect the mic, keep conversations to a whisper, put devices on mute, vibrate or airline mode. I recommend vibrate. Please. Tonight's feature is
Richard Sanderell, baptized.
I knew that already. Tonight's feature is Richard Sanderell.
And David Erdreich backing him up.
Queensway.
Queensway.
There it is.
And David.
And
We'll give it
backed up by David Aaron.
Third right.
I'm so sorry.
Third right. I'm Third right.
David,
Third right.
David, third right. The keynote will be...
Owen Dunkel is the keynote.
Owen Dunkel. Well, the mini feature, the little tiny feature is...
Clyde Always, who is in the house.
Clyde Always is in the house, is here. We've seen him. And the last word will be by...
Garrett Murphy.
Garrett Murphy is not here.
But he will be.
But he will be. Please note the link. Streaming is handy in many ways. If you can't be here, you can view in. If you want someone to see you live, they'll be able to. Woo-hoo. Want to hear so-and-so's poem again? So-and-so is excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you can. Want to do a self-critique? No problemo. More importantly, it is a way to put out the word.
Your word.
I refer to the ongoing theme. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead, who I dated for a few months. She's
Good ankles.
Poor Margaret.
Tonight's theme is...
Tonight's theme, we have options here. Melissa was going to give me a theme last week. She forgot to do that, but I asked her this tonight, and she said the theme is "Oh shit."
Oh, I got that in my French poem.
There you go.
In French.
I think that would be the ongoing theme.
Yes. One other thing is that we're also intent upon celebrating the 100,000 Poets for Change, which is an event happening this Saturday, but we can also do that here and recognize 100,000 Poets for Change.
Dan, do you want to talk about the fabulous door prizes?
Can I talk about the fabulous door prizes?
Please talk about the fabulous door prizes.
Let me tell about the fabulous door prizes we have here.
The fabulous door prizes are...
Indigo Animal. Can I do this?
Indigo Animal.
Indigo Animal. It's a beautiful book. Has indigo animals in it, and you might like that. Then, if you're interested in Treehouse books...
Treehouse Books.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it has many tree houses in it. That was donated by Melissa.
It's a coffee table book.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Okay. You're right on.
And then there's Writer's Dreaming.
Writer's Dreaming.
And Dreamer's Writing.
By Naomi Epple.
Oh, Naomi Epple.
There are
yeah.
26 writers talk about their dreams and the creative process. That actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Now, this is Mysticism for Beginners, poems by Adam Zagorowski, translated from the Polish by Claire Kavanaugh, who is not Polish.
Mysticism for Dummies.
Yes. And then if you're determined to write, well, this little book is for you. Complete. I had to take out the lead pages because it belonged to somebody else. Found it in a free box.
Blank book?
But I take the places for such
a blank.
Much better than a computer.
I like that.
And then from the year 1950, we have Poems and Plays by Robert Browning from the Merryman's Library. It goes on and on and on. It's a very nice condition. And then I would also like to mention the Effie Lee Morris 21st Annual Historical and Research Collection of Children's Literature. This information here, what's the date for that? Ed, what was the date?
That was last night.
Oh. Well, it was a great event according to Ed. So,
Where was it?
Thank you.
At the Corinth Library, the downtown library.
oh, I thought this was something upcoming, but that's okay. We can still mention it.
Yeah.
I'll put it right in front of the camera.
It's for teachers.
Prestigious, and we
Back
now are
up a little
connected.
bit. Back too close, too close. That's a little better. Back further, back further.
The famous, wonderful Gary Soto.
Yes. And then if those don't float your boat, you can be the co-pilot like David is right here if you so desire. Take the last word, which is the last person who ever speaks.
Thank you.
Choose next week's themes as Melissa did with Oh Shit. Become the mini feature, which Clyde always is our honorable key feature for. And then, of course, the keynote, which Owen is going to demonstrate as soon as we hear from Proposition 1 and take care of that. Thank you very much. Oh, no, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I have one last item.
One last item.
If
Sorry.
you wish to record someone,
Yes.
please ask permission. We will assume that you've done so should we notice recordings being made. We don't want to have to hurt anyone. So please obey this rule. Thank you.
No violence. We got the sax, but no violence. All right, and now Tommy is going to read Proposition 1, our ongoing proposition.
Whereas warfare is the worst of all crimes in that it embodies, encourages, and rewards all others. Whereas the definition of war as used at the Nuremberg trials is met for the purposes of this proposition. Therefore we, the party of the first part, all citizens of any nation, all those who suffer from the effects and deprivations of war, who oppose it as a system, as a behavior, as a socially accepted institution, call for an end to war, cessation of all hostilities, the standing down of all military forces, and universal disarmament. Further, let it be known, we the people, the party of the first part, state by our assertion at this time and place that we stand opposed to the existence or use of military force as we now know it, especially by the current dumb shit in Washington, D.C. I added that.
I could tell.
All those in favor of Proposition 1, please signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Like it did last week.
Give him a round of applause. All right. So, thank you very much to the people who took care of the things that I usually take care of. And will Owen Duncan, will Owen Dunkel, our current keynote, come forward, please, and give us his introduction to the evening. Let me drop things on the floor first, Joe. Okay, let's make sure it's in there.
What do you need to say?
Anything, yeah.
Hey, as my keynote, I'll read a poem by Wallace Stevens. "13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird." 1. Among 20 snowy mountains, the only thing moving was the eye of the blackbird. 2. I was in 3 minds like a tree, in which there are 3 blackbirds. 3. The blackbird whirled in the summer winds. It was a small part of the pantomime. 4. A man and a woman are one. A man, a woman, and a blackbird are one. 5. I do not know which to prefer. The beauty of inflection or the beauty of innuendos, the blackbird whistling or just after. 6. Icicles filled the long window with barbaric glass. The shadow of the blackbird crossed it to and fro. The moon trace in the shadow and an indecipherable cause. 7. O thin men of Haddam, why do you imagine golden birds? Do you not see how the blackbird walks around the feet of the women about you? 8. I know noble accents and lucid and inescapable rhythms. I know, too, that the blackbird is involved in what I know. 9. When the blackbird flew out at night, it marked the edge of one of many circles. 10. At the sight of the blackbirds flying in a green light, even the bogs of euphony would cry out sharply. 11. He rode over Connecticut in a glass coach. Once a fear pierced him, whether that he mistook the shadow of his equipage for blackbirds. 12. The river is moving. The blackbird must be flying. 13. It was an evening all afternoon. It was snowing, and it was going to snow. The blackbird sat in the cedar limbs. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And he may mention that this is the attribution sheet, Owen. Take that. So he's going to...
So next we have Steve, followed by Tommy, followed by Jane, followed by Edward. So Steve first.
Steve, give him a nice round. He hasn't been here in a while. And, you want to raise it up, maybe you want to tell me. Okay, all right. I'll get him focused.
Great. Okay, Mr. Natural is right up there with Popeye and Betty Boop. I love the guy. He walks around in his robe like a brother of a religion that has not been born yet. He sits against a tree, twiddling his thumbs, perfectly content, watching the crotch of the girl lifting her leg while she dances near him. He is comfortable in his skin. I loved it when he grumbled and groused as he began to wash the dishes and gradually cleanse them until he arrived at a final sparkling glass and he walked away happy. I loved it when he and Flaky Fun would eat massive plates of boiled cabbage and then would talk philosophy about man's place in the world. He is never at a loss. He grows his beard and never has to work for even a second. He is a good listener. He walks in the crowded streets like a benevolent Godzilla, gawking at the girls in short shorts and skin-tight halter tops with nipples showing. He's as quiet as he's as great, what is this? He's as great a creation as Sancho or the great Don Quixote.
Yeah. All right.
Dr. Strangelove makes me chortle and strangle. A movie about humanity's end. One huge explosion. Serious as a final heart attack, but funny. Why not go all at once? I screamed out loud, voiceless in my darkness, when George C. Scott flies pretend into Russia, the general officer chewing his gums and shouting, "Yes! If that pilot is good, he could make it past all the Slavic defenses and drop the bomb and send us all to Kingdom Come." I loved it when Sellers plays Strangelove, half Nazi, half his body straining to do the Heil Hitler salute while he beats down on his mischievous arm, helpless in the wheelchair. Soon, too, the bombs will probably come again, and the world will reel in a drunken, bloody stagger of a dance. Meanwhile, the idiots in the war room still think combat is a first down in a football game.
Yeah.
My great good friend Nathaniel Goldberg, swashbuckler, and I went to Paris in October 2000. We walked. We arrived at the Eiffel Tower. We were ready to see all Paris. We were disappointed. The elevators were being repaired. We saw nothing from on high, but the sheer size of the sandy area beneath impressed us. We liked the tremendous 4 feet of the tower, curving down to grip the earth. Many black Senegalese men sold mechanical birds, 1-foot wingspan made of metal. Somehow you wound up the thick rubber band beneath and threw the noisy creature in the air. It would flap 100 feet and crash into the hard sand, unharmed. The men threw and sold and walked. When we looked up, dizzying, the slow-moving clouds made the groaning tower look like it was beginning to fall across France. We slowly moved on.
Greg, do you want to be before or after the feature? I'm sorry. Before or after the feature? Tommy, you're up.
Fine. Tommy, give her a round, please. Tommy!
Oh, dear? Okay, we'll leave it as is.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Papa mistrusted higher education. He thought that college would fill me with crazy ideas and turn me against la mia familia. He watches with dismay as I reject the traditional values he holds dear. He supports the war, but doesn't want his son to die in Vietnam. So he agrees to pay half my tuition at Temple University, the only school that accepts me, or so I tell him. Actually, the Catholic college that he wanted me to go to wants me, but after 12 years of Catholic education, I'm ready for that secular education. The first thing I do when I get to Temple is to join the anti-war movement and the Gay Liberation Front. It's not long before Papa has something to worry about. My hair gets longer and longer. I start carrying around a beat-up old folk guitar, the Communist Manifesto, and Howl. I start having sex with men, once in my own bedroom while my parents are out. I head up a campaign against aversion therapy on gay men at a psych unit funded by the university. Imagine strapping electrodes to your dick, being shown slides of cute naked guys, and then having electricity zapped on you to make you straight. A TV talk show host calls and asked if I would go on her show to debate an aversion therapist. In a moment of complete insanity, I say yes. I mean, what can happen, right? The show airs at 1 a.m. Who in La Mia Familia is going to see it? Yes. After I film the show, I decide that I better have a serious talk with Mama. She's down in the basement ironing. Somehow I managed to spill it all out to her. She has one major concern. Papa, you gotta tell him. I can't. You gotta tell him. I can't. You gotta. I don't. The show airs. The good news, the university cuts off all funding to the psych unit. The bad news, my uncle, the cop, sees the program and calls Papa. The libretto, please, for the confrontation the next day. Who made you do this? Those people at Temple University. No one made me do this.
what you've done. You've disgraced La Familia. Disgrace La Familia? The worst sin that any Italiano commits against the entire Italiano population of the universe, living or dead. I mean, we're talking back to the Romans, back to the Stone Age, back to that first Dago standing over a fire, stirring a pot of hot salsa, and yelling in operatic hysterics about Fambulo, what do you mean? You're not going to live 2 gates down when you get to marry. What do you want to do? Disgrace La Familia? Life is now hell around the house. Papa either doesn't talk to me, or he grunts when I go by. My father's side of the family, they disown me. My uncle, my godfather, says to me, I ain't related to you no more. The neighborhood kids start harassing me and threatening to kill me every time I leave the house. Finally, Papa issues his ultimatum. You cut the gay shit, or you don't come home no more. Don't wait out for me, Papa. True story.
Yeah.
Absolutely true story. So, there's another part to it, but I'm sure I've used my 5 minutes up. And so I'm going to be performing next Thursday at Bound Together Books at the Anarchist Bookstore. They have an open mic, and I'm going to be the feature, and I will be doing the whole version of this because I play guitar in it, and of course there's an opera. You know, as you can tell, it's all built around an opera, a Puccini opera, because Puccini's the only opera writer I ever really liked. I know that's blasphemy for me as an Italian, but anyway, I'll be doing it next week, so please come and hear it, and you'll get to hear the whole version of the piece. Thank you.
Jane, you're up next. Now, can I put you on?
Yes.
And Jane. Yes. Jane Radis, ladies and gentlemen, give her a round as she comes up here. She graces us only occasionally, and we hope that she will give us the whole 9 yards, as they used to say.
The whole 9 yards. Thank you.
Thank you.
This poem rhymes.
Put them in here.
Circle in the sand. Make an offering to the Lord. Greet the star in the north. Make a circle in the sand. In the center make a stand. In the cool morning air, draw with a stick in your hand. Make an offering to the sky that you might fully understand. Make an offering to a cloud that natural rain will fall. Say it loud so the cloud will hear your call. And then you'll know what to do, as sure as oceans are blue. What you do will be good, as sure as forests are wood. In the cool morning air, walking on the sand, make an offering to the sky that you might fully understand. Offer to the dawning sun as it rises in its place. See the circle around the sun and see it face to face. Offer to the east that grass will grow for gentle beasts. Offer to the west that birds will still come home to nest. Offer to the north that kings and queens will still go forth. Offer to the south that in this kingdom man is not cast out. And being careful to hear what they might say, listening to their side, you'll know more and more how you can save the land and tide. And as it's quiet and the waves roll in, you might hear the earth as she cries out to you in the wind. She cries, "Oh, save what's left of me." Little drops of blue make the ocean move in harmony. Little grains of sand make the land roll in melody. And it's all in the right key, nothing out of tune. All in the right key, except for the human. Thanks.
Edward MyQ.
The famed Edward MyQ.
To be followed by Owen Dunkel once again, and then Antoinette.
I guess it's me. Yeah.
That is you.
No guess about
No,
it.
it's the other Ed MyQ that we're trying.
Yeah, there's the other guy.
He looks just like you, you know? Swear to God.
So Garrett just...
Yeah, I hope he wasn't scratching his butt when somebody saw him along the street. God help me. They're always saying, I saw somebody just like you. And I thought, what were they doing? You know, I have high standards for myself. So,
That's good.
yeah. How you and we reshape the line. Paths lead up, down. Day is not east, it is west. All's traffic. In these necessary hours, one man lifts his arms, stretching ready, signaling flame crimson. A long shadow adds you. The green you adds with all, and all through the night, love, bending everything. If numbers inquire, tell them we are the ones. They are ones, I am one, and you are one. Awe-filled, and not some kind of a robotic turned brain knob. When the numbers inquire, tell me you are one, and that I am your one, even as we truckle, burnished, roan now, in submarine confusion, swollen, last guest happy, saying, well, life's the insult, even when not. So when the numbers inquire, tell how differing drummers relive, repeat lessons of pilgrimage, melees, the hungering decline of allegiances, and how to fill a numb center and to reshape the line. When the numbers inquire, tell me you are one, and that I am your one, even as we truckle burnished roan now in submarine confusion, swollen last guest happy, saying life's the insult, even when not. Because paths lead up, down, and day is not east, day is west. All's traffic. In these necessary hours, one man lifts his arms, stretching a ready, signaling flame crimson, and a long shadow adds you. The green you adds with, and all through the night is love, bending everything. If the numbers inquire, tell them we are the ones. They are ones. I am one, and you are one. Awe-filled, and not some kind of robotic turned brain knob. When the numbers inquire, tell me you are one, and that I am your one, even as we truckle, burnished roan now in submarine confusion, swollen, last guest happy, saying life's the insult, even when it's not. So when the numbers inquire, tell how differing drummers relive, repeat lessons of pilgrimage, melees, the hungering decline of allegiances, how to fill a numb center and to reshape the line. And this is when I pulled out of the pile to look at again, and I'll read it. Word kittens are echoing. By now so many movements and isms have blown through my word kitchen that the kitten in my mind's corner in the basket under the old gas stove is bouncing from surrealism to symbolism. Now the post-avant-garde is a canker, maybe I mean a cantankerous jungle jingler with yens for villanelles in rhyme, or perhaps rondos with deep cones inside. Once I had a dream that I'd memorized a lot of the sacred books from the Koran, the Bible, Old and New, the Book of the Dead, the Kalevala, the I Ching, well, if it is a sacred book, And it all came to seem like hitting speed bumps that smelled of another pheromone breakdown. My life, and maybe yours, is a riddle leaving paw prints on parchment.
Owen Dunkel. Owen, you're up.
Thank you.
Owen, listen. Thank you.
Yay,
Round, please. And then we got Antoinette, Dee, Wendy, Al, me, Hal, and Lauren Bacall.
And the features.
She said she'd be here. She said. Just so you know.
She's dead for a year. She's still
It's old poems of mine. I thank my lucky stars for abstruse, obtuse verities, for classless objects, and for the ability to mean more in an ultimate sentence. At times I feel like a subject, an object, maybe even a predicate nominative. Once I dreamed I was thinking about the beach, the wind tearing the sky apart, separate from the thrones of clouds, the reason for driftwood, rocks, dogs, and tiny curly hues of foam. If I could return to that place by the doves, the sea beach seasons, save the alcoves, and see the clouds and know nothing, the place inside me is like rocks and blemishes, brooding and searching. Who am I? Who am I? I am one on the street man, the men who stand spread-eagled in their quiet doorways as if they could reach up somehow to the clouds above the birds, the herds of birds that fly. Someday they will speak as God, and the black sky will become heaven. On Marianne Street, La Crescenta, L.A. A long white block, there were walls of stucco painted the color of Oriental Avenue in Monopoly. Rust-colored chimneys, the hot sun of summer, dew on the grass, the quiet blues of winter, frost on the weeds and the rocks. It was ordinary other than that. When spring comes to the city, the air turns to rain and flowers. The sun is beautiful. The sun prances its promise of warmth and love. But the wind, the biting wind from the ocean is sharp. The air is cold and penetrating to remind me how the sun ruined a life of pain. I am the extravagance of feeling. I am running from the eyes of a closet of nothing. The sky can plant the trembling centrifuge on the skull of nature. The day draws to a close, and clouds pose and pause as if they are naked before the sky. To a policeman poet, Mark, the postman always rings twice in the same night. 2 lines to open up the world. I am wondering where Punder was. Well, there he is, right between the pages. Warm, sort of Evening at the Trieste, listening to the plunking and screeching of the violin and the hum and strum of the guitars, the sound of the accordion, the sound of the electric night. The violin reminds me of a plaintive squeak. Trieste, the passion is dull and gentle. The notes of the Spanish guitar are exquisite and far away. No, as quiet as North Beach. Passion, the gentle strum and hum, become my version of a vision, and the clusters of clouds. Stone demigods. The sorcerer wanders over the skies. The smoke hovers over the river. The hunter lets fly from a quiver of arrows. A darkening moon narrows. A flight of sparrows penetrating the blue. I am mad at a metaphor as the day becomes one slow blanket of fog.
Thank you very much, Owen Denko. Around.
Antoinette.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
I just brought one today because I was kind of tired of reading stuff that I'd written centuries ago. So I wrote one recently. So here we go.
Let's just put this down.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. We know we are rare, one above another, stellars shine in love's sight. Extraordinary are we, strength topples weakness, black wears pain as afterthought. Privilege do not part blessings, birthright walks straight ahead, hip to falling short, rank leans on the shove. Bottom of the barrel reaches taller than dregs, puffed up chests oppress freeway underpass dweller. Unique offender holds injustice, always paring down. Degrees of approval go separately home, blind to our commonality.
Pete D. Allen, followed by Wendy Walters and Al Nightingale.
Give him a round of applause, man. Up here now. Hands up here. And Mike.
2 poems.
All right.
The first, from Something Worth Revising, number 4. This is called Non-Enemy. The man who prays to the east is not my enemy. Neither is the person who wears a cloth upon their head or face out of tradition. Neither are those who arrive here from arid desert lands. A family that attends mosque and worship Muhammad and Allah are no more a threat to me than the middle-aged shopkeeper whose first language is Farsi. The Palestinians and Afghans do not terrorize my neighborhood, and the Lebanese do not make the streets on my block unsafe to walk through at night. The Egyptians do not occupy my home or any Americans' homes with their presence, uniforms, weapons, and neo-colonial law. Critical thinking is under attack at higher learning institutions besides mine, and it's not the Syrians who are kicking out the instructors one by one. The Iraqi people are deserving of my detestation or rage. One Fallujah is not enough. All of the Middle East progeny did not make war with me or grab the land beneath their feet or call the petrol within it theirs. The Middle Easterners and Muslims did not stage outright bombings, shootings, and jailhouse torture on me in my town. But that's what the United States has done to them again and again. The real fascism is homegrown.
Yeah.
called Non-Enemy. And the last poem is from Decolor News number 8.
What news is that?
Decolor News.
Decolor News.
One word. From Decolor News number 8, this is called The Silent Parade. Those homes were burnt, those bodies stomped on the workers' boots, those nooses were filled, those bodies dangled from tree branches. This unpunished inhumanity to humanity inspired a street parade through Fifth Avenue, New York City like no other. Children and women dressed in white, prominent in front, all men dressed in black moved behind them. No songs, no chants, no music, no speeches. No noise entered that mobile line, but a recurring muffled drum beat and nearly 10,000 marching feet. Placards on sticks had the only words necessary, divergent slogans, same meaning. We are fellow citizens. We are your equals. White people have untrammeled liberty. Where's ours? The president promised them protection from hate. No such chivalrous moves were ever made. Campaign promise broken. No fucking surprise. Is it any wonder why people chose to march in dead calm? Land of liberty, built upon skeleton heaps descended from slaves, cold deceit, full graves. On that late July day, in remembrance of tragedies, Memphis, Waco, East St. Louis, the most effective sound was silence.
Yeah.
That last poem was called The Silent Parade from Decolor News number 8.
Thank you. That's Deanne, ladies and gentlemen.
Wendy. All right. Excellent. Very nice. We have Wendy Walters and Al Nightingale and our host, the Brady the bunch.
The Brady the bunch.
The hoster.
The hoster.
The hoster.
The hostler. The hustler. The consular. Remember consular?
I was going to start with a lighter, passionate poem, but I just feel very deep right now after what Dee read, so I'm going to read this first instead. And then follow with the lighter poem. So I feel that medicine is heading toward energy medicine, and I also feel that someday our protests will be more energy oriented toward what we want, which is kind of what happens when you talk to little kids. If you tell them what you don't want, they do exactly what you don't want. If you say what you want, feet on the ground instead of don't climb the fence, they hear that. So this is called Protesters' Declaration. Say what we want, not what we fear. Say what we love, not what we hate. Say what connects, not what divides. Say what the heart knows, not what the mind says. Say we support the unity of life, not the illusion of controlling its nature. Say we are conscious about the choices we make, not waiting for them to be made for us. Say we are listening better, responding more, and reacting less. Say we are realizing how little we understand ourselves, others, and the marvel of this earth. So we can become a little more compassionate and a little wiser, using a language of life. That poem is inspired by the teachings of Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, who was bullied as a child in high school, beat up every day, and he didn't have hatred in his heart or even fear. He was just curious, why is this happening? Why are they picking on me? And he became a psychiatrist, and became fed up with the establishment of psychiatry and went off on his own branch and developed this system of getting in touch with what we really feel and finding what's in common between the hearts of all people. This is my lighter poem. Dancing free. I can't wait. I can't wait one more moment to slip into some comfy dancing clothes and ride out of precedent, out of my head, out of the beaten track of its notions, slide into some smooth grooves with my favorite dancing music. Oh yeah, I can't wait one more second to drop this narrow confine of my thoughts thinking about, what did I say? What was that? Oh yeah, feeling my body flow with the waves of this melody and rhythm. Got the rhythm under the spell now, and there's no going back. Caught in this shimmering world fusion sound. Makes me break free, stepping out just to be, not waiting on one more moment. I'm in my comfy dancing shoes, slipping out of precedent, out of my head, out of the beaten track, dancing with these smooth grooves. Had enough thinking about that narrow confine. Oh yeah, feeling my body flow with the waves of this melody and rhythm. Got the rhythm under the spell, and there's no going back. Caught in this shimmering world fusion sound. Dancing up and way on down. Tired, tight muscles all warm and loose. Dancing away the frights and the blues. Dancing free till everything's new. No more tripping, no more loss. My heart and body on fire aglow. Oh, so good this world I know. I'm in love, bedazzled by love. Wrapped in the joy of these sounds, making me move, dancing free.
I
just have to tell you that I used to go to the record stores and buy all the CDs, and I went to Tower Records, and I found a CD by Gobi, and it was like, I have to say, this is what inspired when I do my dancing exercise around the apartment. And this poem came out after like years and years of saying, I write a dance poem. And this poem was inspired by the exuberant experience of dancing with the music of master guitarist known as Gobi. On the back cover of one of his CDs, we are told that Gobi's intoxicating rhythms, spiced with Andean panpipes, timbales, and Indian tablas, lend a world music flavor to his dazzling virtuosity in a free-spirited fiesta of sound. And when you hear it, you're like, in bliss.
The name of that person. Thank you. All right. Give Al a round of applause. He gets set up here.
A poem from my second book, which the name of poem is El Capitamos. It's so very from that. Give us some wine, jets, chewing plaster, subtle faster. Substance and not substance. Move up your pastures, cups, skulls, turtle shells, and grubs. Hey, let's lime donkeys praise us with their singing through the veins and bars, through the floors. Wine flutes, wine carving berries and lies, wine releasing susurration and exclamation. Please come to the table, eat, go out the space, in the space. Table, the wooden table made from oak and antiques with planes and dusty eyebrows come to the table. It go out, it go into the open. Rocks of cast and cows clutching like a cockatoos with juniper claw in the mountain slope and in the throat of everyone horn birded, all waiting for a wine. Move up to a wine, like to a bomb, like to a bomb. Black, sad, and huge, like to a bomb, filled with birds and clouds and outdoor orchestra rehearsals. With reddish tones, go and compose all that you love, either a child or a moon virgin heifer or a wife, all that you see, touch, or something art, even if to put your furlock on the scaffold and to act. So let's drink, let's wine lead us, like a falcon on a little finger of conscience, lead along the mirror bank. Stop to wave, stop to baskets, to blow winter from the wires. Kisses of mistresses are poisoned. The wave is insidiously called. The finest customs prepared to devour kids, and your kids will surprise you, Judge. They'll burn your hats, your pots, on their sullen faces, their evil face with match, with a rake, bosom for your seeds, farmer. You broken vein, you need to dig deeper, to bore yourself and to live buried. Small and big poplars will be our imperished food. Let's go hand more. Shh, I kid a root. My daughter went to the port, that's what I got. Erga vivamus, true, the cathedral organ of guns our movements, while a wine is like a cold overall. Let's drink. We are happy with springs. A gun double-bedded, 2 glasses switched, 2 witches clinked, but death is one. More wine, open blast furnace, they vex iron, open cases, open cellars and tea houses, open hearses, they are your loved ones, open mouths.
You're next, Carl. After Dan.
Oh, yeah, me, then you. Okay. Thank you.
Dan, then you.
Am I framed well?
Not yet.
Oh.
I always ask them that way. My best side gets
There we go.
displayed. Is that my best side?
Oh, you're so cute.
I always ask for my best side to be presented because, you know.
Your backside is your best side.
See, I was gonna say that, but he beat me to it.
He did beat you to it. He did beat me to it.
Well, give us a side angle side, okay? Oh, that's it. That's.
I'm looking to the dead.
Yeah.
So, I can't say very recently. There's a whole slew of poems that I recently printed out, and part of my process is to read them after they're printed out so I can tell if I want to change them or not. So these are 2 debuts for you.
Yeah, all right.
And when I look at these, I'm thinking, where was I when this one happened? Okay, so anyway. Who is this someone kneeling wordlessly before the Word, who dances upon a dreaming lake of sky, mirrors still, which reflects a verge of unending wild lands, distant snowy mountains, and the wind-blown rainbow leaves carried off in swirling droves? Hers is a vast place where cool, darkly rich soil is a-crawl with multiformed and vividly colorful denizens. This someone sees our world as a ghostly suffusion, a pentimento of momentary hints, transient shapes and misty swirls abiding where dark dreams collect in this someone's uneasy imagination. This someone knows these hints come from ancient times, long forgotten in her shimmering age of grace, where airy towers, sylph-like delicacies glisten, comprising their sculpted cities, set amid verdant wilds of this someone's world, so brilliantly vibrant, which stands in stark contrast to our own dismal time of dun and gray. This someone who sees our world proffers to us a kind, loving regard beyond description, lilts melodious murmurings hinting at her sympathy for our woe and would soothe our fears. She prays for those who delineate our delimitations, offering to all a breath of cool, gentle joy. How soft this someone's heart must be, how delicate her traceries of thought, her fanciful reveries, and this someone knows how to fly beyond deletion itself, foretelling this fine craft will be possible even to us. Yes, this dear one suffers our appearance, yet she will not turn away and never let our fears take hold, nor will she speak of such, for our needs are indescribable to her, even as hers are indescribable to us. Her heartfelt wishes flow from her beautiful lips, and she dreams of cooling waters, washing smooth our rough reality of line and form. This mysterious someone constantly prays that we do not deliquesce into considerations of the infinitesimal, and we come to transcend the ineluctable, final, irreducible act of the crypt. She prays we hearken to the mystical sirens, that we may find our heart wings, and so rise up and follow, ascending into her ageless age from whence her calling comes. Although insubstantial, she is transubstantial too, for this is a someone whose remains, long dust, whose finely scripted tones lay tattered, mottled by tears and moldering, all after the long ages have passed, still her thoughts call out to us, everyone. She still extends her infinite heart's whisper through the bright mirror-like portal, always round and open, where our two worlds meet, where portents and dreams may be cast from one soul to another, one age to another. No matter intervening time, no matter distance, her dear love travels our way in transcendence. This is called postscript, and it's another one of these things like, where was my mind when No matter that the sun is hidden, all the more we think of spring. Despite the hoar frost and the frigid gust setting chimes to ring, we see the ruined rose and today deal with it, or so we suppose, what with the first snow and the sharp chill nipping at my nose. Cutting it back will be as good for heart and soul as for root and thorn, a hopeful act, a harbinger, a promise of blossoms yet to be born. I've learned my lesson when it comes to seeing through callous acts such as these, which serve life and give green proof as the seasons wax. The view of my wife and I in a world fast under dull winter's climb, where with frosty breaths we speak of gardening in that rosier time. In a like manner, we go to the fire pit, touch it with our torch, and smile as meandering flames lick to climb, crackle, and scorch. Then watch as our valiant neophytes, who, in careful procession, somberly approach, voicing ancient airs for divine intercession. Each takes their place in praise, swinging as they quietly croon, each naked beneath a stark sky and its intoxicatingly wily moon. Stands in a well-calculated circle of carved stones long set out, before an elder plinth, a well-known name in our ceremonial redoubt. These stand watch as we too, in this uncouth time, perform our only one trick, bringing innocence through mystical lore into the fold of eldritch magic. Only two will be chosen, this they know. Only two will see dawn's light tomorrow. Only that couple who walks through the immolations will be here to stay, to become the guardians we'll train, and they who will send us on our way.
Thank you. That was fast. Beautiful, fast. And now we have Hal.
I hope I can do this. I had laryngitis for 2 weeks.
I'm sorry to hear
that.
Well,
I'm glad you can hear anything.
Yeah.
And so, to introduce perhaps a note of absurdity, the wreck of the Hesperus. By Longfellow. Yeah. It was the schooner Hesperus that sailed the wintry sea, and the skipper had brought his little daughter to keep him company. Blue were her eyes as the fairy flax, her cheeks like the dawn of day, and her bosom white as the hawthorn buds that ope in the month of May. The skipper, he stood beside the helm, his pipe was in his mouth, and he watched the veering flaw did blow the smoke, now west, now south. Then up spake an old sailor, had sailed the Spanish main. I pray thee, put into yonder port, for I fear a hurricane. Last night the moon had a golden ring, and tonight no moon we see. The skipper blew a whiff from his pipe, and a scornful laugh laughed he. Colder and louder blew the wind, a gale from the northeast. The snow fell hissing in the brine, and the billows frothed like yeast. Down came the storm, and smote amain the vessel in its strength. She trembled and paused like a frightened steed, then leaped her cable's length. Come hither, my little daughter, and do not tremble so, for I can weather the roughest gale that ever wind did blow. He wrapped her warm in his seaman's coat against the stinging blast. He cut a rope from a broken spar and bound her to the mast. Oh, Father, I hear the church bells ring. Oh, say, what may it be? 'Tis a fog bell on a rock-bound coast, and he steered for the open sea. Oh, Father, I hear the sound of guns. Oh, say, what may it be? Some ship in distress that cannot live in such a wintry sea. Oh, Father, I see a gleaming light. Oh, say, what may that be? But the father answered never a word. A frozen corpse was he, lashed to the helm, all stiff and stark, with his face turned to the skies, and the lantern gleamed through the gleaming snow on his fixed and glassy eyes, and fast through the midnight, dark and drear, through the whistling sleet and snow, like a sheeted ghost, the vessel swept toward the reef of Norman's woe. And ever the fitful gusts between, a sound came from the land. It was the sound of the trampling surf on the rocks and the hard sea sand. The breakers were right beneath her bows. She drifted a weary wreck, and a whooping billow swept the crew like icicles from her deck. She struck where the white and fleecy waves looked soft as carded wool, but the cruel rocks they gored her side like the horns of an angry bull. Her rattling shrouds, all sheathed in ice with masts, went by the board. Like a vessel of glass, she stove and sank. Ho ho, the breakers roared. At daybreak, on the bleak sea beach, a fisherman stood aghast to see the form of a maiden fair, lashed close to a drifting mast. The salt sea was frozen on her breast, the salt tears in her eyes, and he saw her hair like the brown seaweed on the billows fall and rise. Such was the wreck of the Hesperus in the midnight and the snow. Christ save us all from a death like this on the reef of Norman's Woe.
Sandro. He's going to announce this. He's going to introduce you.
Thank you, Hal. Thanks to everybody who has read. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're having as good a time as I think you are. And now we come to the feature of the evening. It's one of my favorite things to do is to look somebody in the eye in the public and heap praises upon him. I actually said thank you to him, and he accepted that. That happened last night. It was a breakthrough for us. Anyway, I think I've known you only like 4 years, 5 years?
No, coming up on 3 years in February.
3 years, okay. He knows better than I. So about 3 years and 7 months ago, this guy shows up here, and there are several people, and I thought they were all friends, but they weren't friends. He was not with them, and they were not with each other. And then he gets up here and he just rips one out, you know. I'm thinking, oh, he must be one of those older, respectable poets that, you know, just come into the city from some far place away, he's traveling, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff's good to him. It's all not true. He was starting out, getting into reading his poetry at that time, and I had the pleasure of his company several times, numerous times. We talk and joke, and also we talk about, oh my God, this world, what's going wrong with it. So, and he has a good voice. He brings in many, many aspects of our world, our culture, other cultures. He's supportive of other people. He helps people. He helps people. He does good works. But he doesn't want anybody to know that. So I'm sorry I said that. Just erase what I just said. But bring Richard up here. Richard Sandero, the Sandero, Warren Sandero. A good player, good man. He has a heart in there. I say heart as well, so pretty good in front of me.
I'll do all this. Oh, and David Erdreich is backing him up. I forgot to mention that. That's David Erdreich.
Yes, I want to introduce my friend David Erdreich. Also on Saturday at the Beat Museum, G. Allen is one, and I will be another with many, many other poets at the Beat Museum at 3 o'clock. I think you're doing it again at the Unitarian at 6. Again, D.
It's going to be at the Beat Museum between 3 and 7.
Oh, okay. So the Unitarian Church isn't going in?
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then it's the Beat Museum starts at 3. Okay. The first one I'm going to do on my own. Okay. Sort of mellow. It's called Still of the Waters. Waters off the coast of Vietnam are still flat, glassy, reflects, teems with life. Then, still, water surrounding these waters are anything but. My memory travels in time with me, one of mother's beauties, still waters, showing me at a glance one doesn't forget what lays before. Like the beauty beholder, both know they've had this moment, at least what the mind beheld. P.S. When bombs explode on land, there are ripples on still waters. All right, we're going to pick it up with this one. David, remember I told you about that Motown song?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, well, we're going to be doing it tonight with Martha and the Vandellas. So,
It's not a huge tune, the Martha and the Vandals.
yeah, well, that's what we're talking about, that song. But you'll get the drift, you know.
Okay.
I have total faith in you.
Okay.
That Motown song. There's a Motown song, a song of dance, a song that gives hope, a bringing together that screams of revolution. A song the Grateful Dead covers all night at the Avalon Ballroom, and everyone just keeps getting higher and higher. That song by the great Martha and the Vandellas, backed up by the funk band Dancing in the Street in 1964. It's a great dance song, sung with spiritual joy by Martha Reeves. She sings that what we need is music, sweet music, and it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you were there. It gives hope for those who have none, and screams the coming together, which makes it revolutionary. Taking over the streets to dance, the Vandellas' voices soar in joy. Remember, this is the heights of the civil rights movement and the stepping up the war USA took to Vietnam and beyond. I learned more recently that all the cities named in this piece were blacks, not railed against the empires, neglect and abuse, indeed revolutionary. This piece and others that followed give me the belief that there are other people like me. Who wants so much more out of life, and a little joy would be good as well. It was my thinking that it was a good starting point, a way to go forward. Once started, move forward, assess, move forward. Don't get turned around. This is some of the music that brings black and whites together. That's why it's so very dangerous. This is an invitation across the nations for folks to meet. In the 1950s, some whites were listening to Bo Diddley. Bo said that when blacks and whites came to his shows, whites sat on one side, the blacks on the other. When he plays to the middle, because if he plays one much to one side, the other will get mad. Dancing in the Street broke that with their public invitation. Break the past. Join us in the struggle. Come, let's go dancing in the street. Yes, go dancing in the streets. This is called Just More Broken Treaties. USA, you break more treaties daily as private security beat, pepper spray, and arrest reporters for reporting and protesters exercising their rights. These private cops, along with public officials, are in the league of the most dishonorable all across the ring of light. Protesters in solidarity protecting what is sacred. If you don't believe it is sacred, clean, alive, may explain a lot why we are where we are. USA, your own government stole all that is yours, and they gave it to their bosses. Now you pay for what is yours. It worked well in Chile. You weren't watching. Worked even better against the Aboriginals of Turtle Island, but you didn't care. USA, you may be in trouble. The 7th generation is here. Thank you. Let's do another native issue here. It's called Native People Told Us Our Fate. When the last tree is cut down, the last fish eaten, and the last stream is poisoned, you will realize you cannot eat your money. The quote is from the 20th century when Native people warned us of our fate if USAs continued their trajectory of destruction of flora and fauna. Bees will no longer pollinate or bring honey. There are stories from the salmon people that when the pale ones from the east arrived, children could walk across the streams on the backs of salmon. Go to these same streams if you can still exist in any numbers and tell me what you see if you dare to look. Then look at the systems dependent on salmon passing. Their bodies give nutrients of life without which they would all die, including the giant redwoods. We are losing the salmon people. They will not be brought back by the medicine people or shamans. We are losing the salmon people, the flora, fauna. You did it without a care. When the last tree is cut down, the last fish eaten, and the last stream is poisoned, you will realize you cannot eat your money. You can't expect many more warnings. You just can't. All right, waiting for the miracle incarnate. Yes. Yes. I said waiting for the miracle incarnate. As worlds collide, break apart. Melt. I sit sweating in 100+ degrees, staying hydrated, waiting for the miracle incarnate to cool. Heal as sweat pours from our bodies. I sit waiting, watching birds using feathers to splash water over heated bodies, as dogs pant as fast as they can. What it must be like for foxes, coyotes, wolves, all other flora, fauna. I sit waiting for the miracle incarnate to rescind its primal forces about to be unleashed on the flora, fauna, humanity. I sit waiting, but I see no miracle incarnate, because the miracle incarnate I am waiting for is dying before us. Oh, little silliness. Yeah, little silliness. Blandness and gelatinous jumped out of the ocean, found things bland, made blandness and gelatinous look vibrant and bright, which makes blandness, gelatinous nervous. They both jump back into the oceans. Blandness joins forces with gelatinous, morphs into jellyfish. who are now becoming the rulers of the sea in their badass blindness. A little musical. Dance Cadence. That's for anybody who knows, it comes from Zouk music from the Caribbean. Dance Cadence. Rhythm, a rhythm, a rhythm dance for chance cadence. Like water we flow, always in motion, mixing our magic elixirs. Dances makes our intentions known, romance of love sealed more than a kiss. Beat, 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 as hearts do. Beat, 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 as the congas drive our dance cadence. Look into each other's eyes as irises open wide to take all of each other's into places only we know. Dance cadence. In the theme of dance, I've been doing a series of pieces where I add on about what's going on with solidarity, and this is one of them. And though the 7th Poet Laureate isn't here tonight, you'll understand. This is called It's the Dance Solidarity. It is a dance, an angry dance, repeated in many performances across the sphere, rushing toward its final circle, spinning ever towards, if you can determine what towards is. These dancers come with protective equipment. Someone might get hurt, could be riotous. People will bounce, repel off each other. This is the Empire's gladiators. Blood spills, spurts, baptizes, dancers, audiences, watchers cheer on. The riot dance begins. Broadcast for your viewing pleasure or appallings. This war and rot tears the Empire, destroyed not from without, but from within. Meanwhile, under all this, new dance forms itself into the minds of a troupe, where the new dance plants ideas for dancers to perform. Something a little less violent, spontaneous, yet with structure, controlled with points of frenzy, yet slower, needs intimacy. Let this new dance set the music, poetry, story stretch across the globe in unity versus the rage which will exhaust itself when it realizes their dance is the same bloodshed as the old bloodshed, flooded in blood, while the new dance understands what it proves. Solidarity begins her schooling. The elders and ancestors have her ear. She's being schooled well. She still needs the village's protection. The 7th generation is here. The 7th Poet Laureate of San Francisco sits among us.
No, I didn't know if you were going to do that.
Oh no, you're going to have your own thing.
Are you going? You got to ask him. Well, no, we'll do it. Don't worry about it. Okay, it's not. I'll need 10 minutes.
All right. Recently we've had some predictions. Of course, didn't come true. So anyway, I have my own view about this, and when this day comes, this is my view of it all. I think you may want to be doing a lot of squatting, which is not the lecture.
Okay.
All right, what's all the noise about? What's all this noise about? All this crying, carries on, screaming, loud drums, trees, trumpets, or is that something else? People run from what? It sounds like someone shooting cars. It was later found out that it was a man who thought if they shoot horses because they overpopulate, he needed to shoot cars because they're breeding out of control. He was one who remained. What I mean by remain is the rupture finally happened. It happened in my lifetime. The faithful have finally been taken away. The rupture is upon us. Hallelujah. Take up to the sky, God. Everyone is getting what they want. We've all been free. Apoplexy may have been avoided. Oh, what beautiful noise.
Okay.
Go. Ask this gentleman over here.
Oh, I didn't know there was a misunderstanding.
There was a misunderstanding, but we're going ahead.
Okay.
Be the poll.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Shoot me later then.
Can I have your stereo?
Oh, would you do that? It came off. Sorry.
Read.
Chairs devour. Yeah. You can play on this. Chairs recline in cafe. Many people show up, missing after sitting, reclining, working their devices in these chairs. They arrive, sit straight, and erect, alive, vigorous, working their computers, putting in, getting out information. They seem secure. As time travels, they become more relaxed. They begin their recline and their decline. Chairs working their power. The people are beginning to zone out and not in, dropping in, not out. It really is something to see. Thus begins the final phase. These chairs have these two-legged immobilized, no returning. Two-legged in trances, necromancies, they slowly disappear into the folds of the chair, covers them, leaving only their devices behind, to be found by the next two-leggeds, who in turn will occupy these chairs. Now you know the secrets of these reclining chairs. The devour. I have 1 minute. All right, 50.
Finish by yourself.
Okay, all right, we'll do this one. This is called 50 Years Later, Some of Her Love Quietly Dies. 50 years since the summer of love ends, celebrations, education of these times never materialized. The city didn't make the same mistake twice. All celebrations controlled, paid for, no wild in the streets. In the beginning, just before summer, Hare Krishna drums, cymbals, click cymbals, chant, burn incense, after decades of being gone. Something about gun running. They even fed people in the park like the old days, trying to gain more believers. It smells like the summer celebration may be upon us, but it didn't materialize. Any outburst of joy, celebration squashed before it ever got out of hand. Observances in all the respectful places, the Young Museum, Hall of Flowers, City Hall, with no real context. The gray area in the Mission throws a virtual human being. There is a painted hearts in the hate sidewalk signifying love. But more shopping is done than showing the expression of love. Not to say that there's no love in the hate, but it just looks a little crusty. Young know nothing of the history as they wear their favorite corporate logos. Ask those who work or visit and you will get blank looks. Mr. Natural Who, Straight Theater, The Tigers, Our Crumb, Furry Freak, Brothers Chet Helms, The Family Dog, Diamond Dave Whitaker.
So let's go, boys and girls. We're going to San Francisco to the 8th Summer of Love, where everything is Disneyfied for your viewing pleasure, throwing back to the 50s via 50 years later, so you'll have no truth here than what was attempted. Meanwhile, next door, the Fillmore, one of the real jewels, cultural, music, poetical places in the city, is only months away before the death knell begins, and we forget. Thank you.
Didn't I tell you? I thought I told
you. Sorry, Dan, but we didn't make that clear.
It's all right.
I'm going to do two pieces, one long piece. When I first went to Paris in, I think it was 2013, let me look it up. 2013, yeah. I was there, it took about 24 hours to get there, all the transfers and stuff, and then finally got there, and another 12 hours getting settled. And after about 36 hours, it was about 4 in the morning, and I was with my ex-wife number 3, and we were just friends, although in the same bed, but just friends. And I couldn't even move in the bed, I was disturbing her. So at 4 a.m. I got up and wrote this on Paris. The lobby brooks the passage of Canal Saint-Martin, mere blocks away, bridging blockage, urban milieu to you. Pour vous, pas des sous, mais maintenant des euros. You're all I see, all I know, all I feel, forever adrift, rift, ascends, declines, tines, fork through a neighborhood rife with life. Every cafe, restaurant seething with aromas, très chic, très drôle, warm, hot, cold, beyond, changing shadows to dreams to realités, shows to Darcy blows, wind whipping Montmartre to start, Scottish pipes winding a parade, sneezes, blasting past vendors, painting, feigning, dodging the hodgepodge, selling the fingers, third eye, the tumblers rough and acrobatic draft, an eye full of Eiffel, a tower to view, askew, a millennia remembered in an eye blink, graffiti cheek by jowl with jewels of Julius Caesar, and you have the gall to smoke your fucking gaulois in a public square where here and again men and women swimming 3 feet above the Seine tentatively grasp hands. Where are the marching bands? Iron filigree reminds me exactly where New Orleans stoked its original irons, working through a nuage, Django dangling by a Stefan. Step on, little sparrow, crumble into a fine soup, a salad so fresh it feels like it was just threshed, and chocolate, ooh-wee! This food is so good, I'm shitting chocolate. Louis XIV has left his head on the floor. Marie Antoinette was not a safe bet. Versailles did not even raise a sigh. Gardens chilled, not yet in power. The metro, nothing retro. Here, my dear, above, below, never slow. With so many lines, must connaître le nombre et l'appellation, destination, conjugation, corrugation, affirmation, change the station. Freely, certain stops will let you transfer. Find the spots like a seat. Up you go, don't miss a beat. A walking city, all aglow. À l'heure des enfants, tout en dos, musée edify portance, take you out and bring you hence. Magnify and dignify, elucidate incredible rates. Exchange le monde, a spinning sphere, gregarious, grand. So cross the lingo long. 'Twas here a different song I sang. Oh yes, New York still knows my heart, and California transplants the main part of me, of which is unstitched, rehemmed, hawed, thawed. The waters of March paraded into Paris, enchanted me, handed me the gist of my mist, the kiss of couture, dress of the dressed to the nines, rush and brush up with, so finally I can speak and hear Daisy Day. The thrill, chill, and will of a thread gets me out of bed at 4 to score. Please, unhatched, plans unhatched, new batch of brains, planes, trains, trucks, never struck in a past pasture, always picking a present relation, negation of absurd, dodging dog turds off the curb, walking to save my life. Traffic, who cares? I'm not behind the wheel. I'm at the hub, rubbing elbows with natives who view the rest of the world as natives. Restless to integrate souls, eager to edge towards the edge, leap, keep the fate, turn the triad into a myriad delta, separating out the, oh, did I mention the cream, the butter, the beurre? It's the sweetest I ever tasted in my life. Magnifique! Back to the metro, hither and yon, accordion players, plying lines, familiar ancient tunes. Soon, just a memory will linger forever in a day. A trip that started on BART with an openly psychotic female raver spouting anti-sexist remarks found a counterpart on the metro, a Parisian retro man lost in his own can of worms, words spewing past tongues, wrung out with anguish, ignored by all other passengers in transit, sick with no gloria, no hope, no rope to end, bend, or mend a turn to path, a tunnel to funnel, a means to end the mean voice as the train hastens on, quickly is gone. Another rabbit hole emerges, purges, charges, barges, back up the Seine with a slight remorse, of course, that chestnuts are not yet in blossom, though crocus and daffodil still laugh at sorrow on the ground and hint at spring to bring forth fifth banjos, tangos, unraveled, bolero, anyone? Building pulse of futures traded in the earthly market of love and fashion, culture and passion. Latin, distinctly not Manhattan. Streets rudely handled by hubs, radiating spokes, spoken in arcs of triumph, citrus of Citroën, opened and shuttered in Louvres of the Louvre, Orsay, built with a pattern of modern and ancient, blended seamlessly into Folies Berger, the naked breast of liberty, libertines, drama queens, je ne sais quoi, panache, along, in a manner so suave and smooth that the groove in your flesh says Depeche Mode is a road, take it or leave it. Believe me, when you see Paris, it will free those delusions, contusions, confusions, burnt umber with a slumber, reawakened, shaken, stirred through the drink of a pink snake skin, shed to bed down with a sliver of time, a silver of rhyme, a golden yolks on you, Yanni. Commedia dell'arte. Farts sent from Italy to France, and back perchance, slap my back with a stick so thick, a nose large enough to pose problems. In a similar vein, I'm saying sane or send. Now and then, stay a while, child. Don't gallivant past a poem meant to show them you don't know. Merde, there's the theme. Shit. Don't know merde. Don't peer past your peers, because you fear they might upset your apple cart of ego and rhyme. Don't shudder those blind eyes, but ask why an impulse to right wrongs in the middle of a night song belongs on the page. Rage on, roll on, conundrum banishes humdrum, hum mitigates, elevates the morning blues, morning slower, unleashes, collar, self-imposed, grows, pricking toes, feet fettered by chains committed to statue. I-ams, embittered by I am nots, pair off paragraphs with an axis allied to the state-of-the-art art of the world, expression, progression, regressions, advertised as the abject object. An adjective adds to adverbial modes of thought to be extinct, but species reclaimed to pay for loss of hair, loss of whole avian genera due to human indifferent expansion. I merely want to say hello, meet these beings before they depart to the shores of Westerners, the elven homes have begun, each voice a unique conglomerate of sounds, further complicated by a choice of appropriate situations, perpetuations, ability to initiate, rotate, habituate, and fly. Yes, I admit I like to fly, Icarus fly, not just travel the astral, but hover, accipiter-like, hang on the wind like a hook, privy to every gust, guess to every cloud. Thunderclaps aloud, riding the ridge, scanning the waves, surfing the air 1,000 miles for a bite to eat, as if it were just over the next fridge. But alas, I'm settled here for the nonce, like a Murphy in a garret in Paris. like a poet in couplet with a former love who no longer sings the same song. Sure, we get along with an occasional fuss, so why bother with blather? Does it matter? The spot teems with hot powder and mean temperature gammon of gammon. Sins of the cine, clowning around, dating the sounds. When day breaks, I will feast on fresh baked bread. Jams, I am hard to put a name to. Fruits of the world, fruits of my labor. I wrote that nonstop. Took me about 2 hours. And also from other parts of the world, from Panama, I wrote a list poem from the Panama Bird Field Guide, which had the size of South Carolina, 920 plus birds. All of the U.S. plus Alaska, 700. So the birds are packed in there. So these are all adjectives used to describe birds. Hard, spotted, broad-winged, sharp-shinned, collared, plumbeous, roseate, black crowned, striated, fasciated, rufescent, blue-footed, masked, wedge-rumped, tawny-faced, ring-necked, fulvous, semi-palmated, wattled, marbled, long-billed, pectoral, bridled, elegant, parasitic, pale-vented, spectacled, violaceous, crimson-fronted, red-lored, mottled, vermiculated, ferruginous, white-whiskered, sapphire-throated, scintillant, resplendent, pied, lanceolated, chestnut-mandibled, lineated, double-banded, oscillated, ochraceous, social, dark, peratic, speckled, cinerous, warbling, varied, cerulean, hooded, scarlet-browed, spangled-cheeked, shining, variable, saffron, yellow-thighed, hepatic, painted, indigo, and tropical. Thank you.
Well, I didn't know. We'll talk. We're going to take a break now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put this on pause so you'll be able to speak your mind and not have to worry about someone, listening.
Okay.